Imagine this. Miles away from civilization, surrounded by dense forests and treacherous terrains with no signs of human life. This is the unforgiving wilderness, a place where life hangs in a delicate balance, where the laws of nature reign supreme, and where survival is not a given but an earned privilege. In this world devoid of modern comforts, your senses become your best companions. They warn you of lurking dangers, guide you to food and water, and help you navigate the complex labyrinth of the wild. Every rustle in the underbrush, every snap of a twig, every howl in the distance holds a story, a clue, a warning. The wilderness is not just a physical place, but a state of mind. It's a crucible that tests your mettle against the raw, untamed forces of nature. The elements are harsh and unforgiving. The scorching sun drains your energy, the biting cold numbs your senses, and the relentless rain soaks you to the bone. Food and water, those taken for granted necessities of life, become scarce commodities. Each morsel of food, each drop of water becomes a precious lifeline, and the ever-present spectre of starvation and dehydration looms large, a constant reminder of the line that separates life from death. But the wilderness is not just about physical survival. It's about mental and emotional resilience, about finding the strength to keep going when all hope seems lost. It's about the willpower to push through pain, hunger and fear, to fight against the odds and to cling to life with an unyielding grip. And let's not forget the inhabitants of the wild, the animals who are not just passive spectators but active participants in the dance of survival. They too can pose threats, from the small but deadly insects to the large and formidable predators. In such circumstances, the human will to survive is tested to its limits. The wilderness teaches us that survival is not about strength or intelligence alone, but about adaptability, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of the human will. There are those who have faced such dire circumstances and emerged victorious against all odds. One such story is that of Juliane Köpke, a 17-year-old girl who found herself in a life-and-death situation in the wilderness of the Amazon rainforest. It was the day after Christmas in 1971 when Juliane boarded a plane with her mother. Little did she know that this journey would turn into a harrowing tale of survival. The plane was struck by lightning and disintegrated in mid-air, but Juliane, still strapped into her seat, fell 2 miles down into the dense rainforest below. Miraculously, she survived the fall with only a broken collarbone, a gash on her arm, and a swollen eye. But the real challenge had just begun. She was alone, lost in the wilderness with no survival training. For 11 days, Juliane navigated through the harsh terrain of the Amazon, facing threats from predatory animals and dangerous insects. She survived on a diet of candy from the plane wreckage and water she found in the forest. Her knowledge of the rainforest, learned from her parents who were both zoologists, proved invaluable. She knew to follow streams to find civilization. She fought off infection in her arm with gasoline found at a crash site. Her journey ended when she came across a boat and a small hut where she waited until loggers found her. Against all odds, Juliane had survived. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience and the will to live. She had every reason to give up, to succumb to the harsh reality of her situation, but she didn't. She pushed through pain, fear, and despair, and she survived. The strength of human spirit is undeniable. Juliane Köpke's story is one of many that serve as a reminder of this fact. When faced with impossible odds, the human spirit can rise above and conquer. It's a testament to our innate ability to adapt, survive, and ultimately to thrive, even in the most unforgiving circumstances. The wilderness does not discriminate. It challenges all, young, old, experienced, and novice alike. A tale that truly embodies this sentiment is the harrowing survival story of Eric Lemarque. Eric wasn't just any ordinary man. He was a former professional hockey player, a man well versed in the ways of ice and snow. However, even his athletic prowess couldn't save him when he found himself lost in the freezing wilderness while snowboarding. One day, what was supposed to be an adventurous day of snowboarding took a life-threatening turn for Eric. Straying off the designated path, he found himself in uncharted territory. Soon, the daylight began to fade, and Eric realized he was lost. Miles and miles of snow stretched out before him, a desolate white landscape where nature was both the captor and the judge. The temperature plunged, and Eric was faced with the formidable challenge of surviving in the sub-zero wilderness. With no food, no shelter, and only the clothes on his back to protect him from the biting cold, the odds were stacked against him. But Eric was not one to go down without a fight. Throughout the night he pushed on, trudging through the deep snow, his body screaming for rest, his mind battling against the overwhelming desire to surrender to the cold. His survival instincts kicked in, and he used his knowledge of the snow and ice to his advantage. He dug a snow cave for shelter and used his snowboard as a sled to conserve energy. Days turned into a week, and Eric's situation grew increasingly dire. He was frostbitten, dehydrated, and starving, yet he refused to give in. He battled hallucinations and frostbite with sheer determination and willpower, fueled by the desire to see his family again, and against all odds, he survived. After 8 grueling days, he was finally rescued, forever marked by his ordeal, but unbowed. Indeed, Eric's story is a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the will to survive can triumph. The will to live is a powerful force. Every survival story teaches us something. It makes us aware of our own vulnerabilities and shows us the importance of preparation. Indeed, the stories we've shared today all have a common thread: the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Each person we've discussed was placed in a dire situation, but they found the strength to endure. They each had their own unique challenges to face, but there are some universal lessons we can glean from their experiences. First and foremost, preparation is key. If you're heading into the wilderness, it's crucial to have a plan. Know where you're going, what you might encounter, and what resources you'll have available. Equip yourself with the appropriate gear, and don't forget to pack essentials like food, water, and first aid supplies. But it's not just about physical preparedness, it's also about mental preparedness. The survivors we've talked about all had a strong will to live. They stayed positive even when things seemed hopeless. It's this mental fortitude that often makes the difference between life and death in survival situations. Knowledge of survival techniques is another crucial factor. Understanding how to build a shelter, start a fire, or find food in the wild can save your life. It's not always about brute strength or speed, it's about knowing how to use what you have at your disposal. And finally, it's important to remember that survival is a test of endurance. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You have to be patient, conserve your energy, and keep pushing forward, even when things seem bleak. In the end, survival is about resilience. It's about being able to adapt to changing circumstances, to maintain hope in the face of adversity, and to keep going no matter what. Survival is not only about the fittest, but also the most resilient. The wilderness, while beautiful, is also a formidable foe. It demands respect, preparation, and a strong will. As we journeyed through the unforgiving terrains of the wilderness in our discussion today, we've seen how its beauty can swiftly turn into a beast. The challenges of wilderness survival are many and varied, from finding food and water to navigating treacherous terrain and weather conditions. Each of these obstacles calls for a unique combination of skills, knowledge, and determination. We've heard the tales of those who faced these challenges head-on, ordinary individuals who were thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Their stories of survival are not only inspiring but also illuminating. They remind us that the human spirit is resilient, and that with the right mindset we can overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Against all odds, these survivors found a way to endure, to keep going when all hope seemed lost. They used their knowledge, their skills, and most importantly, their will to survive. They adapted, they learned, and they fought, not just against the wilderness, but against the despair and fear that can so easily take hold in such dire situations. And what can we learn from these experiences? That survival is not just about physical strength or technical skills. It's about mental fortitude, about the ability to stay calm under pressure, to make rational decisions when every instinct is screaming at you to panic. It's about the will to live, to fight, to endure no matter what. So as we come to the end of our journey today, let's remember these lessons. Let's remember that the wilderness, while beautiful, is not to be underestimated. Let's prepare ourselves not just with the right gear and knowledge, but with the right mindset. Remember, when faced with the wilderness, the most important survival tool is the one between your ears. Stay safe, stay prepared, and always respect the power of nature.